What's up, Capricorn? Welcome to my channel. This is the People's Court Tarot. I always say there's no the. It's just People's Court Tarot. Yeah, so this is a metaphysical space where I pull cards to find out what your grievance is against someone because, you know, in the Bible it says that you should not go talk to Jesus or God if you have issues in your heart against your brother or sister. So you need to put those issues on the altar. So this is the altar where we put those issues down. And then I also pull cards to give you an idea of how the other person feels. So, you know, you can hear their side, hear their vulnerability without having to ask them for it. And then if you click on the extended in the link below, then I will give the universe's objective verdict. So it's more of a reading that looks at both sides and gives you, Capricorn, the message that you need to hear, regardless of what side of the situation that you fall on. Okay? Okay. So I already pulled 3 cards to get started talking about your grievance. And I see right away it has to do with just watching for someone or something that is not there, that is not growing, not, you know, it's like a feeling of being ignored, of being, and there's a blindness. So there's like being ignored and maybe not understanding why, being disappointed, being hurt, feeling lied to, feeling cut off, feeling judged. There's just like a whole slew of shit. Coming into the reading, we have the World card. So something ended. It was a cycle that ended too. So this may have been like a relationship or a situation that had many twists and turns, many lessons. You may have felt like it was fixed, like set in stone. But the only thing that's fixed about people look at the World card like these situations are going to be fixed, but since the World card actually represents lessons and karma and Saturn and tests, the only thing that is really fixed and permanent with the World card is the lessons that you take with you into your next, your next set of lessons. Your next, I say next life, not like you're going to die, but like, you know, we have several lives within a life. So it's like you live a life with someone or with a situation, like high school. It's like a whole life in itself. And then when it's over, you know, those friendships may not necessarily be fixed, but the memories are, the lessons that you learned are, the experiences are. Those are the things that people can't take from you. So I see that something ended. Maybe you don't know why, but there's also like an insulation. Like I feel like someone is completely looking away from a fight for the relationship or a fight for fairness. Maybe you feel like something was not fair, and instead of dealing with it or fighting for it, struggling for it, someone is just looking away like they don't even see it. Okay, let's pull a few more cards. Give me 1 second. My baby just got up. Uh-oh. Sorry. Okay. So let's put something on this World card. Yeah, I feel like you wonder if this person loves you because something broke open. Maybe some truth. Maybe a situation that you thought was solid broke and dissipated. And you're fighting to get back to this relationship. But the person that you're fighting to get back to is like not budging. They're just watching you try to figure out how to get to them. But there's like no way to get to them. And if they had been lying to you, I don't feel like they're lying, but they're maybe not saying anything. Maybe there's just something that in watching their behavior, or I should say in watching their non-behavior, their non-action, there's something that you've just come to understand. So maybe your issue is that they didn't just come out and tell you. They just kind of ghosted you kind of fast. It was like, like if you standing somewhere talking to somebody and a bus comes by and they just hop on the bus like in the middle of the conversation. You're like, wait, we were talking. And that motherfucker just gone. And it's like they left without giving a fuck how much damage that caused you or how much pain that caused you. But I also feel like there's damage and pain on both sides. So it's not like this person hurt you and left. It's just whatever collateral damage is left from this relationship or from this situation. I feel like not only are they not going back into this situation with you, but they're not helping you clean up this collateral damage either. And so you're just kind of left with everything. And maybe there's, like, if they say anything, it's nothing. It's like they're, it's like if they talk about it, it might just be from like a very distant, magical, fateful, wise kind of condescending way that does not in any way like really speak to actual feelings or emotions about the situation. So yeah, that is your grievance, Capricorn. So let's hear the other person's side of the story. Let's hear the defendant's side of the story. Defendant, what say you? It is your side of the story. Why did you leave Capricorn like this? With all this fucking mess. It reminds me of that movie. What was it called? Something's Gotta Give with Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton. And she just fell in love with him so quickly, and then he was not in any way ready to be in a serious relationship that honored all those feelings that she had, and she just looked at him in tears and she was like, what am I supposed to do with all of this? She just had all this emotion and nowhere to put it. It's kind of like that. So what is this person's side? Got the Chariot card at the bottom of the deck, 4 of Wands, Queen of Swords, Star card. They feel like they told you. They told you, they feel like they told you that they weren't happy. And they're turning their back on feeling unhappy. This person just really doesn't want to feel unhappy. They don't want to feel unstable. And I feel like they have felt that way so long. They felt a duality within this relationship for so long, where on one hand they were happy to move forward, but on the other hand they felt like being in this situation made them lose something of themselves. And they really felt that way for a long time, to the point that their feelings like alchemized into thoughts. It's like those feelings just lingered around so long. Maybe they tried not to look at it because they were in a union with you, a very emotional union with you, that they tried not to look at their feelings of unhappiness for a really long time. They tried to pretend like they were happy, and maybe you were happy and that made them happy. but they got to the point where they had to, you could have feelings, right? And you could ignore your feelings, but it's way harder to ignore your thoughts. If you ignore your feelings long enough, they're going to turn into thoughts, right? So say you have a person around you and you just have a vague feeling that this person doesn't like you, but you ignore it and you hang out with them, you do stuff with them, but you ignore that little feeling. You ignore that feeling long enough, it's going to turn into a thought like this, like, that person's going to come around and you're going to have the thought, don't trust that bitch. And you're going to be like, where the fuck did that thought come from, But it came from the feeling that you ignored. So this person ignored their feelings of like discomfort or disease or whatever for a really long time. And then they just got to a place where they didn't want to think bad things. They wanted to think good things. So they had to turn their whole back on the situation. They want a situation where it's good and the thoughts match the feeling. Where they can like 100% wholeheartedly trust that okay, because here's what it sounds like when your thoughts don't match your feeling, right? You feel like you can't trust someone. Your thought tells you, don't trust that bitch. And then when your thoughts don't match your feelings, then another thought has to step in and be like, why do you feel that way? And now you're having to justify your own emotions to yourself because your thoughts are not aligned with your feelings. And that makes motherfuckers feel crazy. That makes them feel like they can't believe anything anyone says because that makes reality kind of loopy. So this person just wanted like to get rid of the cognitive dissonance within themselves where they felt one way about you and thought something different about you, or thought one thing about you and felt something different about you. They needed that shit to be unified. So they had to really step into their soul and really analyze the situation. And I think they just came to the conclusion that they had to turn their back on it and just really focus on what they wanted to manifest for their soul and the types of soul mates and soul relationships, close relationships that they really wanted for themselves. And it was something maybe that hurt them that they like laid back and thought about for a while and, tried to heal from. And eventually the healing came in the form of having to move on from you. And I think they know that it hurts you, but they don't feel like there's anything they can do about that because they are very wary of what the relationship looks like with you when you're happy in the relationship, because there's something about the relationship that makes you happy that makes them miserable, and it's the same thing. So they had to choose to let you have that thing and you be happy, and then they have to find something else separately to be happy on their own. Okay. So I feel like that's a pretty clear-cut case, Capricorn. That is that person's side of the story. If you feel like this is your story, your situation, and you want to hear the universe's objective verdict on the situation after considering both sides, then click on the extended link below and meet me in the verdict room. In the verdict room, and we will get the verdict. If you don't want to meet me in the verdict room and you was just ear hustling, hustle your ass on then. Thanks for coming out. God bless. Good night.